So hi, everyone. Awesome that you guys are here. Thank you for being at Maker Faire. I'm Mike Sinisi. I'm executive editor for Make Magazine, and it's an honor for me to get to introduce these guys. We're doing a Making on YouTube presentation, talking about taking making to the next level, kind of going pro with it. You've got a great outlet, a lot of great outlets, but YouTube is a phenomenal one. And over the last couple of years, I've watched it turn into this humongous phenomenon with just these personalities like you guys that get to show off your skill, your art, and everything, and actually do it in a professional capacity. I'm going to let them talk about everything, but we got Giaco, whatever, April Wilkerson, Laura Kampf, and Jimmy DiResta. Maybe we'll have Howard, maybe we'll have David.
Wherever they are,
but
they're welcome.
All these guys have incredible channels on YouTube. Look them up and get full on into it. And I'm going to let them all talk. Make sure you guys all take a turn talking. Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
And have fun.
All right. Well, guys, we want to say thank you all for the support. I mean, it's amazing what's going on with YouTube. Thank you very much. I mean, many of you listen to my podcast, and you know I went on YouTube because I was mad at the TV business, and I wanted to show them what they were missing. And now I don't even have any interest. Anytime I talk to a producer, I say, the only interest I have in what you're going to do is how it's going to help my YouTube. And they're like, oh, you're going to stay on YouTube? I'm like, of course I'm going to stay on YouTube, because your project's probably going to die because nobody cares. So it's been incredible, and it's an incredible community. And one of the most rewarding things, and maybe you guys can concur, is when I meet a fan, and then that fan also becomes a celebrity YouTube creator or contributor. And I met so many people that just came to visit me and say, I love what you do. And then months later, they're like, I'm doing what you do. And that's incredible. And so
that's
now,
me, by the way.
He came to me and he asked me permission. He said, I made a video, and he asked me for permission. And I said, you don't need my permission. He goes, no, but I want it.
That's exactly what happened.
Everybody, David Welder. You might have to stand, Dave. Unless you want my stool, I'm going to keep standing. Oh, Dave's got a stool. So, and David's been my pet project. I forced David onto YouTube, and he finally got on YouTube, and he's like taking full reign. So I'm happy to see that.
Cheers. I appreciate that.
Right on. So if anybody out there wants to take the plunge and get into YouTube, the simplest thing is, what's that? You got to ask my permission. No. Just make a video, and that's it. Just make it. You don't have to publish it right away. So I know a lot of people are afraid, and so many people show me videos. They go, I made the video, but it's really, really bad. But they're just self-conscious, and they show me a beautifully crafted video. And it's okay to be humble, but don't humble yourself out of business. You know, you got to be a little daring, and you could always delete it.
Exactly.
You could always keep it unlisted and show it to family and friends. And then once you put it out there, once the trolls get a hold of you and start eating you alive like piranhas, you could take it down if you want, but you could just ignore them and shut the comments off. So,
And it's digital.
It's digital.
If you hate it, you can hit the delete button.
Yeah. So.
And you're there at what? Nothing gained, nothing lost.
Right. So, just to reiterate, I got on YouTube because my TV show got canceled. So, my girlfriend, who's more hip than me, said, go on YouTube, TV's dying anyway. And she was right. So, that's how I got on YouTube. So, I'm going to pass the microphone. Introduce Laura Kampf. Maybe you tell us your experience, how you got started.
Hi, I'm Laura. It's really crazy that I'm here right now on stage because it's about 1 year ago that I wrote a huge fan letter to this guy. You probably don't even remember. I do. You do? Yeah. Telling him that it is so great for me to see that it is okay to have interests in every level of making, and that you don't have to specialize on one thing, that you don't have to focus on woodworking or make the decision between wood and steel and what that, because that's what I've been told all the time by everybody. So I wrote him this letter that it's great to see that it's possible to not focus and to make that the business, basically, to what is that, jack of all trades, master of none? Yeah, exactly. So.
Reddit too?
No, I'm not reading Reddit. I did that once. Yeah, anyway, so a year later, I'm here and I get to talk to you guys, and I see people with shirts with my name on, and it's great. And it shows that it's very, very possible. And the only thing you got to do is to get started and to take the first step. And even if people don't like what you do, you can be sure that there's an outstanding community behind you who will have your back no matter what. Like, even if your video sucks, they will still have your back and make you feel good about what you do. And that's great.
Right on.
Right on. So, this is my very, very good friend April, who also supported me so much in this. Oh my God. Okay, I just let you talk.
Hello, everyone. Oh, it's different talking into a microphone. I'm used to talking to a camera that has one on it. Going back, I think, to the original point of getting on YouTube, I completely concur with Jimmy as far as just taking the plunge. Oftentimes, I get people saying, you're so comfortable in front of a camera, I don't feel that way, so I can't take that avenue. I didn't start off comfortable. I bet none of us did. Maybe Jimmy, because he's Jimmy. And
Well, if everybody notices, I don't talk.
oh, that's true. So, yeah, my main advice is to kind of along Jimmy's same lines on take the footage, because you don't necessarily have to put it on YouTube. You can just use any of the raw footage that you're taking on a project that you plan to make anyways, and then have that to kind of hone in your skills. And you can theoretically edit together as many projects as you want without actually producing them and putting them on YouTube. But it will give you that footage to actually kind of get to know, kind of maybe tweak and peak your process and your feel and the vibe that you want to get across before actually hitting that publish button. Although I think that's a waste of time. I think if you're going to put in the time and effort, go ahead and hit that publish button so that you can get the feedback and kind of enter into the community. But if you're uncomfortable doing that, then there is definitely nothing wrong with just taking that footage and practicing with it. And then going on to what Laura said, she said something I wanted to hit on. Specializing. You know, I don't know what I'm doing 90% of the time. Most of the time, whenever I'm building something, it's for the very first time, and I just bring a camera along with me. And that's, instead of taking the avenue of using YouTube as a teaching tool, kind of like what Jimmy does, he has enough skill and knowledge at this point that he can actually tell you, this is going to work, and this is the right way to do this. And I know that a lot of what you do is kind of on the fly, but you have enough background, I think, to kind of support at least a general idea of this will work. Whereas I kind of more do it as a story. Come along with me as I build this building for the first time, and I'm going to show you where I faltered and where my common sense told me to go next, and I'll let you know if it was right or wrong. So don't necessarily think that you have to specialize, and don't necessarily think that you already have to have 20 years experience in order to take the leap and get started into something. I think all of us can contribute something very differently from one another, even though we're all in the same niche of making and the creative process, or woodworking even more specifically, or electronics, whatever it is that you're interested in.
Hell yes.
Okay, I think I talked enough. Here you go, Giaco.
Hi, my name is Giacomo. Giaco, thank you. I'm Giaco whatever on YouTube. I started because YouTube for me was like two of my passions was like making things and making videos, and thanks to YouTube I could do both of them, and that's the really great thing about it. I'm not a woodworker, I'm not a welder, I'm not any of the thing. I'm a maker, so I try to make anything that I would like to make. So it that's thank you.
See how great the community is?
Back to the support. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, that was actually amazing. It was I don't know if somebody saw my stupid video. I made a USB a USB hub out of concrete, and the minute I actually was on the make channel, and looked like everyone hated it when I posted, and for the first 5 minutes was really bad, but then this community, the making community, it's so nice that I had much more support than any of the other videos actually. So, well, if somebody in this audience wants to start making videos, just do it, as the other guy said it, because the community is there. Somebody will like your videos, so just do it.
Yeah, I agree. There's room for everybody.
We'll go. Dave, you introduce why you began, and we'll go back.
My name is David Welder. I make stuff, and I like to do it. But it actually, in reality, it's a combination between Jimmy DiResta and my previous experience as to why I do the YouTube thing. And I was battling a lot of depression and anxiety and substance abuse and, just being wild. And this really grounded a lot of my creative endeavors and interests. And the thrust and good nature of Jimmy really helped to do that. I would make something cool, and he'd go, "Oh, let me see the video." There's no video, and he'd, "Well, would you, get on it?" And so anyway,
He kept making things and not filming them. And then one day I was gone on vacation or something. I came home, and he's like, "Check out this video," and like he was off. That was it.
I'm hooked. Yeah, I mean, so it's cool, and there's room for everybody, and it's interesting when you start before you get to like 1,000 subscribers. It's a lot of recommendations, so it's friendly people. You're not getting like these wild strangers that tell you to kill yourself and all that stuff. And then it's just a very fascinating world. And then to meet people who I know pretty well in the computer world, face to face, is a very cool and odd thing. One thing I want to talk about quickly, the support, to go back to a bit of what Laura was talking about. When I was in Italy with Giaco, and we were working, there was the earthquake much further south than us, but that day and the following 2-3 days after, I was getting emails and messages from all around the world. People wondering if I was dead or not. I mean, that doesn't sound
And he
like
didn't
much.
answer right away, so everybody was nervous. Because of the time zone. I texted him, and like 8 hours later, he's like, "Yeah, we're cool."
Yeah, but
I actually knew about the earthquake, about the people.
yeah, we had known about it, and but anyway, the point of that is the support is amazing, and if you like to write poetry, if you like to glue macaroni, if you like to build rockets to eventually get to live on Mars, whatever the caliber, man, do it. You'll find your people and believe in yourself. That's so played out and cliche, but you will find your people. I was lucky to have found Jimmy, who championed my existence and living, but that's the story.
Cool. Thank you, Dave. Well said. So I'm going to introduce Howard right now, and Howard Chung is new to this community, and Howard has a channel called Uncommon Sense. And Howard is trying to figure out how we could monetize this concept. We go on YouTube, and we want to spend all of our time making videos, and that means we need to get paid so that we don't have to do anything else but make videos. And if we could make videos and earn money while we do it, that's the most rewarding part. But do it without being, without not making money and not turning into like a commercial channel. So it's a real tough balance. So Howard's going to introduce that concept.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me out. In 10 words or less, why did you start your channel? Why did I start my channel? I like to learn. I'm not a maker. I love to learn. And being surrounded by, the first time I met Jimmy, first time I met David, how could you not want to learn this stuff, right? I mean, it's just amazing. The empowering act of just trying to make stuff. It's just amazing, and it's something I'm very, very grateful for. And but anyway, let's talk a little bit about the monetization or trying to make a living while doing this. And we should start with recognizing the fact that this is something that advertisers and companies value, right? They value, and we should value as well. So for all of you makers out there, I mean, obviously we have a who's who right in front, but the first time I met Jimmy, it was amazing to me where he was struggling for companies to really understand the impact that he could have on all of us, on his entire viewership. And so, luckily, speaking with, working with Jimmy, working with David, speaking to companies, in the last year, I've really gotten a great education in terms of what companies are looking for, they are not looking for, and some of the challenges that the companies have in looking at makers like this and saying, well, should we take a risk on them? And the answer is absolutely yes, right? A resounding yes. And we have actually someone in the audience here who I can point out who has, who's doing this professionally. He works for his company. He looks for makers, right? Fairly recently. And he's like, listen, Howard, the return on investment, right? Not to use too many, financial phrases here, actually works. We put out a video, sponsor Jimmy, and guess what? We sell more things without being, cheesy about it, without, putting all sorts of emblems or brand, making him a NASCAR. No, there's a proper way of doing this, and it's a great way of doing this. So, anyway, I would love to hear, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, the branding is cool, and it's cool to be able to make money while you do what you love, which is making videos of cool things. And I like to tell the branding people that it takes a long time to develop the trust with your audience. So when the branding people come in and they give you a whole script, they're like, we want you to say this, 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 and this. I'm like, well, do you want people to keep watching the video? Because if I say all those things, they're going to turn it off. And they're like, no. Well, this is the, talking to some marketing team. I'm like, I know these 700,000 people better than you because I hang out with them all the time. You don't know one of them. So if you just let me do it organically the way I want to do it, I guarantee you'll have a potential for a viral video. I said, if you want to nip that viral video in the bud, let me read the script you're demanding that I read. And it's gotten to the point where I just said, forget it. I tried. I mean, there's a couple of videos out there where I'm reading a script and I
Audible.com.
Audible.com. I look like Ralph Cramden. I'm like, humana. We
No,
did
but we got-
75 takes, and
but we made
Dave's
a
like,
cat
all right,
read."
let's just move on.
We got Spike to read. Remember, 1 fish,
Yeah.
2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
Dave is an excellent idea man, and so I picked a book and Spike picked 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. So it's so for me it's been a slow growth because I really am resisting what the advertisers want from me. But now that I've just started my vlog, I'm on episode 3. This is going to be part of episode 4. Thank you for the support. My vlogs went from like, this is horrible, don't do it, you're going to ruin everything. The second one, okay, maybe. Third one, man, this is awesome, I'm so glad you're doing this. So I'm really happy that it's going in a good direction. And just like we said in the beginning, if it's no good, you just turn it off. Or I could just stop doing it. But the vlogs have been a very specific thing for me because I could naturally incorporate stuff. And I could talk about people that I love, like my friend Mark at The Complete Sculptor. He didn't pay me for that. I just like what he does, and there's so many of you out there that don't know about this place. So if I say, hey, look, Mark does this stuff. But at the same time, I could incorporate people that are paying me that are organic and that I do really support. For years I've been using DeWalt tools, and it wasn't a stretch when I had a kind of a misstep with them in the beginning. But I still use their tools. I just paint them white. So now, I don't know, maybe I won't paint them white anymore. We'll see if we go somewhere in the right direction with them. But if it's organic for me, it feels right. And when my agent sends me something, I go, which I haven't really locked down anything. He hates me. But I go, yeah, this feels organic. And that's honest. When it doesn't feel organic, I'm just like, I'm not going to sponsor a yogurt or a testosterone pill. Did you guys get the testosterone pill?
No.
Yeah.
This is never going to work. I'm not going to. I could use it as a nail. No. Oh, God. The pill. I'm done.
Good place to end.
How are you doing with monetization? Are you
Yeah.
able to get brands? Are you interested?
Yeah, the TV show. Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. I'm a super young channel, so obviously I'm not being approached terribly much, but I'm interested. But just as Jimmy said, my brand, and I'm working really hard to put out a I am the brand, and I don't want to invent any character or any anything that's not me and have that as my channel avatar, or what's the word for that? Yeah. So it's very important for me that I stay true to the stuff that I like, and those sponsors are hard to find. People who watch my videos know that I have a sponsor. I'm very, very happy with them, But other than that, I'm not reaching out. I'm just waiting what happens. But as I said, I'm not being approached terribly much. But I see my YouTube channel as my portfolio, and I'm making my business out of YouTube right now. So I'm having this TV thing coming up, and it's something completely different, but I'm still a maker. I get to work with kids. It would fit this surrounding very well. I get to take tits. Oh my God.
Hey now.
Did that happen? No. So I get to take the kids to a junkyard and build stuff with them there. So that's something completely different, and I can make money there. I'm selling videos to Snapchat or to a production company that they have a channel on Snapchat. So I make money there as well. It works out. It's just starting to work out. Yeah. But I want to point out, if you're interested in making videos, that making money should not be the priority, because that is probably the hardest thing to do.
It takes so long, right?
It takes so long, and you should try to manage your expectation, because it can be very painful if you expect to put out 5 videos and be approached by somebody. That probably won't happen. And we're all doing this full time, and that's a huge commitment. And it's also okay to do videos on the side, and you don't have to be on a weekly schedule. You can make a video every 3 months if you feel like it, and maybe you'll get into the groove. So don't pressure yourself with stomping a channel out of the ground and expecting to turn it into a business in 6 months. It's not going to happen. So
It'll take years.
Yeah.
There is, and people pay for plugs, or there's shortcuts, and just there is no shortcut, right?
No.
I mean, it's.
Not that works out in the long run.
Yeah, I mean it's all hard work and free labor up front, and then it gets good. Hopefully, if you stick with it.
Yeah, when I talk to friends or people that I meet, they ask me, "What do you do?" And I say, "I make videos for YouTube." Oh, so you just film your cat and then you get 1 million views on that? No, it's the exact opposite. You work really, really, really hard, and you don't get anything for it. And you hope that someday that will turn around. But those guys are much more experienced in the sponsor business, or at least April is doing very well. You can talk more about that.
There were so many things there. As you're talking, I have so many things to include, but now I'm blank, of course, because everybody's looking at me.
Talk about tits, maybe.
Yeah, no. The number one thing that I get asked is, yes, I mean, anybody who's familiar with my channel knows I am very open to working with brands. I think that Jimmy hit on a very important point, that you need to stay organic to your channel and who you are. I played around with a few things on kind of reaching and trying to make it fit, and it just doesn't. It doesn't work for me. I have to work way, way too much to try to incorporate something that doesn't naturally flow into it already, and my audience doesn't respond to it, and so it's just a lose-lose situation. So, going back, the number one thing that I get asked is, how do you get sponsors? And I assume that if y'all are here, y'all are either interested in growing a YouTube channel, or you already have one and you're interested in monetizing it more. So I'm just gonna, I think, go in that direction. But getting sponsors, I think the number one thing that you can do in your own favor is figure out what direction you want to go in, that you're going to be happiest. Because like what Laura says, it takes a lot of work. And what David said, it's not going to happen in 6 months. It's not going to happen probably even in a year. It's going to take a lot of time and effort up front in order to see the return in probably 2-3 years, maybe. I mean, accurate, probably?
It's like this. For a whole year, right? And then things get good. It takes a while.
That was him, not me. Yes. So yeah, I would pick a direction though that you want to go in, that you're going to feel comfortable putting in the time and effort, that you're going to not suck all the passion and motivation out of it, so that you're going to want to invest the time and effort into it, and that you're going to be able to not create a phony persona that you're going to have to constantly be maintaining, because the longer you keep it up, the more difficult it is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think it just kind of comes naturally, or it'll come easier if you just kind of stick with it, and then if you're going to find that audience, and it might not be a huge mainstream audience, and there's nothing wrong with that, because like what David said, you will find your people, and you will find an accepting, loving audience, and it might not be millions of people, and I think that that's totally okay. But with working with companies, if you build up your brand and you put something that's genuine, that's full of passion, and obviously a lot of motivation into it, people will eventually contact you, because there's something, I think, truly appealing about that. And also with Jimmy, I think now I'm remembering all these points I wanted to hit on. There's not just one way to monetize it. Laura is doing something super creative right now to where she's making smaller videos and selling it to Snapchat. You know, they both are doing the TV route, or Jimmy has in the past, and she's stumbling upon something. So if you are starting a channel, just like any other business, you just kind of have to always be keeping your eyes open for an opportunity to be, how can I maybe make a few dollars here, or how can I turn that into a few dollars there? And definitely talk to previous channels or other creators and see how they're making money, and see how you can incorporate that into your business model. And then it's slipping. I had one other point. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll think about it. Yeah.
Well, I can't say much because I'm actually not a YouTuber full time. I don't look yet for ways to make money out of YouTube, so I can't give you anything about that. Maybe you can better than me.
Well, to tone it down a little, I think you're right. There's a few things. I don't even really know what a sponsor is, but I think you can monetize by views. You can talk about all that stuff, but the biggest thing, I think, is having fun. And I don't mean like laughing and laughing.
Just enjoying your process.
Acceptable. Enjoy your process because it takes a lot of hard work. But the other thing is people can detect bullshit like immediately, whether it's through a sponsor. You know, if Jimmy's pushing a testosterone pill, it's not going to go over very well. But even just as you can read people intuitively, you can see when something's forced, when someone's not having fun. And I think that translates. And it conveniently translates because it's so much work in the beginning that if you don't like it, it's just, it probably won't work out. And the millions will come to you if you stay at it, and you will find your people.
Yep.
It's amazing, the people that crawl out and will just get that one thing, that goofy little thing that you did in the video that was your favorite part, and someone will go, oh my God, I loved when you threw the thing, and right? It's just such a
very
wild world.
validating when you find the people that
Yeah.
agree with your weird ideas. I'm a turtle. That's right. And I'm pregnant. Howard Stern reference.
Baba boy.
It was one thing I wanted to say. I remember having a conversation with a big brand, and they said, do you want to be involved with us? And I'm really curt with my emails. I just said, sure, how? That was my reply to this big brand. And they wrote back with a big contract, and I wrote back to this marketing guy. I said, this is all good and well. Maybe this works with channels that have no subscribers. I said, but I have a lot of subscribers, and I said, I might allow you into my world, and if my world is really cool, I said, I am not honored to be in your world. You're honored to be in my world. And so I said, you should see it that way. I said, I'm not going to sign a contract. I just was annoyed the way he came at me. I said, I'm going to do it this way. This is how much it is to be in a video. I said, you need to realize this isn't regular TV. This is a YouTube world. I said, if I'm playing with your brand, my fans know that I approve it and I think it's cool. I said, so you should take this sort of humble approach to be involved in our world, because this is our world and we're letting you in our world with all of our friends. So this isn't regular business. This isn't like old school television commercial stuff anymore. So I said, you got to respect the fact that we have a huge group of friends and we're inviting you to our party, and you got to come and have fun and don't be a pain in the butt. So he wrote back to me. He goes, wow. He goes, we don't have a deal. Thanks for saying that. He goes, it really opened my eyes. But maybe down the line, that deal will redevelop. But I felt really empowered saying that, to basically saying, like, I'm not honored to be in your world. You should be honored to be in my world, because I'm going to introduce you to my friends and family, and I don't want you to make me look stupid. So, anything to add?
I think that's going to wrap it up on that topic for a second. I have a question for everyone here. So I'm big into making mistakes, right? I'm the failure guy. Stumble, get up, repeat cycle. I would like to ask everyone on the panel, give us a mistake or give us a part where you wake up and you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that 3 months ago for my channel, and it just turned into a complete disaster, or maybe it was a blessing in disguise. But I would love to hear one of those gut-wrenching type of moments.
Well, Dave touched on it. We did the Audible.com thing. It was funny because I was always wanted a sponsor. Then all of a sudden I got Audible.com. And I'm like, I got this. And then right up to the moment where Dave put the camera on and goes, okay, read the script. I was like,
Remember, I wrote it on a refrigerator box.
because I kept forgetting it. And they had to do this thing verbatim. I mean, I also wasn't mature enough in my channel and in my comfort zone to be able to say to the client, let me just do it how I want. But if you notice, if you guys all hear these Audible.com commercials, they're all said exactly the same. I mean, I just am not good at delivering a line that I didn't write or that I don't feel comfortable saying. So when I put that up, I edited that. It's in the beginning of one of the early tip videos, and I kind of fast forwarded through it. I know that we said take 20 was the good one, so I just cut take 20 and I didn't watch it. I didn't listen to it, and I put the video up, and I don't even remember what tip episode it was. Maybe somebody remembers it. But anyway, it wasn't that bad. But for me, it felt uncomfortable. It felt bad. And so I just felt a little bit goofy about that. So for me, that was the beginning of my commercial career and also the turning point of my commercial career when I look back at it and said, I really would like to do things the way I want to do them. I mean, I'm obviously willing to make compromises because when someone dangles a big check in front of you, you go, okay, I'll read that line, sure. But, it's a matter of balance. And again, the most important thing is it has to feel organic. And that didn't.
I think my biggest mistake recently was saying in front of an audience that my new TV show is about working with my tits.
I think you have another pitch to make.
You guys remember that? Remember that when that happened?
Yeah. Just wanted to remind you all. Honestly, I said it before, I fail all the time, and I fail so much to a point that I don't even notice anymore. When I do the projects that I do, I don't have a certain endpoint to it, and I don't think about the process too much. It's everything is in flux, so that way the failures are easy to what is that? Push through. All right. And also being surrounded in this community by a lot of great people, failures are not that bad. Coming back to Giaco's concrete thing, I wanted to remind you again. Now that was actually super beautiful what happened there, because everybody got your back, and I think that was something that got the whole community to a new level, and stuff like that. To come back to the YouTube thing, stuff like that should be a reason to start a YouTube channel, just to be an active part of the community and to share your perspective on it. And when you're surrounded by friends, then saying something stupid like with my tits, or making a video that didn't come out the way you wanted to is not a big deal. That's not a failure. That's just a day that wasn't that as good as the last day. So that's fine. You don't have to worry about that, I think. But
Well said.
let's wait for the next thing that I say. So.
Failure, big failure. I kind of I treat things really organically with everything that I do. My projects, my filming style, my business, because all of it I'm figuring out as I go. And I don't know. I don't have a moment where I can look back and think, man, I really wish I didn't do that. Because as cheesy as it sounds, everything that I do, I see how it works out, and then I learn from it, and I move from there forward. So I'm not bragging because I feel all the time, just like Laura. But yeah, I push through it, and I figure out what worked or what went wrong, and then learn from it.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's honestly not a big deal, and I think that it's really easy to kind of get sucked into looking way too much into the numbers or looking way too much into the feedback, and I don't know. I make things that I want to make anyways. If I wasn't on YouTube, I would be making the same exact things that y'all see me making. I just wouldn't be putting them on a public platform. And I think since I'm doing that, even if I have a negative response or just a positive response, but way lower than what some of the other videos I put out get, I'm okay with it, because at the end of the day, I was going to do it anyways, and there's still 20,000 people maybe that got some value out of it, or inspiration, hopefully, or you know what I mean? So, yeah, just kind of if you do fail, you're going to, of course, time and time again, just push through it, like what we were just saying, and go from there.
I want to say I have 2 or 3 videos where something went really wrong and there was no way of fixing it. So I had, although I usually don't talk in my build videos, I had to talk about it and say, okay, this is what happened, or I had to, write about it on tape or something. And those moments were the best moments of my YouTube videos so far. That's when people really engaged and said, like, oh, so cool that you talk about it. So cool that you don't cut that out. Because failing is awesome. You learn so much from that. And you can instantly tell by comments who is a maker and who is not a maker. And that is scratching on a new topic, the troll thing. The trolls want to see you fail and they want to point out the failures, but they don't understand that failures don't matter to us. It's fine to fail. It doesn't bother me if you think I shouldn't have, sanded the aluminum or whatever people are pointing out. It doesn't matter if you think that's wrong, because it's a failure and I learned from that, and that's cool. And I think that a lot of people learn from that and they can avoid this mistake. So it's great. Yeah, and relate to it. Okay, so that's it.
I think the worst mistake that a YouTuber can make is not making content, because new videos, not releasing new videos. And that's something actually that I do often, and I have to get better at it. Because I think people want to see what you do, want to see new content all the time, and if you don't give it to them, it's like they take it in a bad way. So they, how can I say that? I mean,
Yeah, kind of things dry up a little, maybe.
yeah, I mean, if you want to be a YouTuber, you basically have to make content, and if you're saying that you want to make videos every week, you have to make it actually every week, and that's something I have to get better with.
Cheers. Failures. Well, I've actually, luckily, to keep this real upbeat and cheery, hitting some of my darkest days really put things into perspective, and so I tried to see. I think I came from a different, darker place of like trying to find light everywhere, and having these things like, for example, in Jimmy's class, he's not really a hammer throwing, angry tool guy. When someone screws up a cut and they're just rah, bah, 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 and things are flying, and he's more of a like, all right, here's this. How are we gonna make it happen? Okay, we need to get it. In his class for mold making, for example, came in and people had like these bubbled over, just scabby looking molds, and it was supposed to be a little bunny rabbit. And he's, well, I didn't, what happened? And he would diagnose it and try and reverse engineer this thing. Okay, so did you shake it? Whatever, all these things. And we would then, in a healthy way, critique these failures and make the best out of it. It's like, crying over spilled milk. I mean, this all sounds so easy, but analyzing and learning.
I just, I realize we're coming right to a quick close, at least for the Twitch stream. So, Tyler, do we have any questions? Is it too late?
We actually have one question for Lauren. I'm not much, so can you please repeat it? Mentioning that you were going to be hosting Reclaim Audio soon, and are you excited for that?
Oh yeah, I was asked to join the Reclaimed Audio podcast for an episode, and I'm very excited for that, of course. Was that the question? Did I get that right?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's just, are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you excited?
No, I'm nervous right now. I think I might be a little bit nervous as well. It's like it's a language thing. Giaco might know this. It's very difficult because especially being on YouTube where personality is so important. It's a lot of pressure not to lose that and try to stay relaxed and try to be yourself, but you're using words that you're not comfortable with, and it's weird, but that's.
Tits.
And I say tits.
Can't be worse than my first podcast.
Do we have any other questions, Tyler? Nothing right now? All right, cool. I've been asked, this isn't just me being me, I've been asked to hand these out. I have a new book coming out with Make, and so we'll both make money, me and Make. So if you guys take this as a reminder. So I'm going to pass these to my friend Barry. Barry, just hand them out. It's just a reminder for the book, and, I don't know. It's got...
What's it called, Jimmy?
The name of the is... I'm sorry, Gretchen. Workshop Mastery with... Can somebody read it to me?
with Jimmy DiResta.
I don't have my glasses on.
DiResta, new release from Make, Workshop Mastery with Jimmy DiResta.
Hey, could you read what my friend Nick Offerman?
Your friend Mr. Nick Offerman says, Jimmy's superpowers are those of a sculptor, combined with a handyman, with an inventor, with a blacksmith, with a woodworker, with a teacher, with a you name it. Nick Offerman.
So, Nick, thank you very much, and thank you, Nick. Nick did the foreword to the book. He was gracious enough to do that, and then also, Nick wrote a chapter in his new book, which is coming out in a couple of weeks, on me. So I'm honored. I haven't read it yet. I hope it's not a tell-all chapter. But
Can I tell a quick story?
yeah,
I just want to tell a quick story on my first podcast just to make Laura feel a little bit better here. I told some people last night. So David Welder and his Faking It podcast crew was kind enough to let me go on to their show one time. And so I get up early in the morning. It's 4 o'clock. I warm up my voice. I'm super excited. I'm standing up. I'm doing jumping jacks. I got my headphones on, and I call Google Hangout. Is that what it's called, Google Hangouts?
Yeah.
All right, so I call Google Hangouts. I'm like, I hear them in the background. I go, hey, guys. So glad to be here. Super excited. Thanks so much for having me here. And they go, hey, yeah, nice to hear from you, Howard. Hey, by the way, so no pants today? I'm like, excuse me? Yeah, you're not wearing any pants today. I'm standing there with my headphones on, with my phone like this, and the camera is shooting straight down into my pants in the hotel room. And I did not have any pants on. So, Laura.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It could have been a lot worse because, I could have showered. I could have been anyway. So, Laura, have fun.
All right, so Tyler, do we have a couple more minutes for Twitch? Yeah. All right. We're gonna open up to some questions in the audience. We're gonna have to. I think we can keep talking here for a little while, but we're gonna have to close out Twitch in a minute. But any questions right here? Anybody have anything to add to this or want to? Yes, sir. The initial hump of not having anybody watch your videos. I say you just got to make content that kills it. You got to make good content. If there's any lulls, like when I rewatch my edits, I watch my edits. I'll close the computer and I'll open it up in the morning and I'll watch the rendered, previous rough cut, and I'm watching it. And as I'm watching it, I go cut. And if it doesn't cut right where I think emotionally it should cut, I go back into the edit and cut it there. I might cut 3 or 5 seconds off of something that makes it move. So you got to make your videos, you just got to make good content. Even if it's slow and you're making a origami paper rabbit, you could make that exciting if you were, a killer director. So just think in terms of that. Yes, sir?
Some people have different sort of levels of production. Like it's a whole lot of time to like one video with a lot of work into it versus the quick and dirty doing one day. Can you guys talk about like how you find the balance between those and
Right. Yep, the balance between making a down and dirty video and something with super slick production. And, if it has heart, it could basically be made out of a paper plate and people will buy it. I think we all get that and we know that. It's like years ago when people would be like, oh, if it's people, how many filmmakers have we all met that worry about getting a red camera or I'm like, you don't even have any ideas. You could film it on your phone and it would be horrible. But you have to have the idea has to be the most important thing. So as far as production goes, I'm kind of on both camps. I go down and dirty, and then when Giaco and Dave are around, I let them do the final shots of my beauty stuff. But when they're not around, I just go beep, beep, beep. I'm like, as long as it just tells the story right to the point, then it's good. But as far as production value goes, if you got the time and the energy to do it, and I'm going to give you this question, because everybody knows you make beautiful looking things.
Well, making videos for me is actually part of the making. So I put a lot of effort in making my videos, my editing, and I learned really a lot. Doing the 30 days challenge with David in Italy, we've done 30 videos in 30 days. That was, thank you. That was awesome. And actually, if you want to get better at something, do it for 30 days every day, and you're going to see, seriously, it's incredible. You're going to see after 30 days, you're going to be much better at what you want to do. So it's true for editing, for anything.
Brush your teeth with the other hand.
Are you done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Just something I wanted to add is there's no getting around it that if you want to make a successful YouTube channel, just successful, I guess, is relative, very popular, where you are getting a lot of views, you're going to have to push out consistent content. Whether that be, and the more regularly you can push out that consistent content, the better YouTube is going to promote you, which is huge in your corner. So if you are interested in getting a lot of views, daily videos, that's why vloggers, of course, they're gonna get pushed by YouTube more. People who do it like in our niche, it's not plausible to do a project every day. That's not absolute crap. So weekly even, it's a big struggle with the time constraint, because like what you're saying, how much time do you invest in the video quality and the editing process and the visual, and I mean, you could sit there for days and tweak and peak it, but if you're trying to do, you need to be thinking about what your long-term goal is. Are you doing something beautiful that you're just wanting to do part-time and you want to put as much effort into the quality as possible, or do you want to grow your channel and then play with it on where is that line for you? But just know that the more that you push out content, the more YouTube is going to promote you in the recommended fields and suggested videos and things like that. Because if you look at the analytics, the second that you miss a week even, I mean, it doesn't seem like that much, but the second you miss a week, even if you've been posting regularly for the last 6 months, you're going to see a drop in all of your numbers. Which sometimes you need that break, and you just got to give yourself, but...
Yeah, I'm about to do that tomorrow. I don't have a video for tomorrow, so... I want to say one thing. The most important thing about your channel, in my opinion, is your personality and is your perspective.
Yeah.
And people always ask, like, oh, it's so, it must be so hard to come up with a different project every week. That's not the hard part. The hard part is to translate that idea into a video so I can show you why I think that's a great idea. So the idea could be making another cutting board, but I will show you why I think it's interesting, or why I had to make this cutting board because I needed it or because I found the material or something. So I think much more important than the creativity is the communication, and that should be maybe one of your first steps to think about when you want to put out content. Is what catches me in building, and what's the thing that keeps me awake at night and that really gets me excited about going into the workshop, and then find a way to translate that. For me, it was like super close-up shots, because it's the making, it's the process, it's changing materials and making stuff your own that I really like. So I try to find a way to communicate that to you, and then your style will develop.
Yeah. May I include something? Laura hit on something that I think is also really good to talk about, is whenever, darn it, I just lost my train of thought. Of course that happens. No, that's not it. I'll think about it.
Any questions? We're just going to try and get a couple in before the end of the day. Yes, sir.
This is another one from our online chat. They want to know, how do you know to make a decision on, if you have a project that is made of expensive materials and you don't have a sponsor that you're really excited about, how do you balance that risk of
How do you balance the risk of starting a big project? Like, I want to do my canoe project. I want to turn it into 5 videos. I've opened it up to several sponsors, and no one's biting. You know what? I'm going to make the video anyway. I'm going to go forward and make it without sponsors. And if it gets to the point where I begin, and then you just got to bite the bullet. You got to do it because you know your fans are going to love it. And, the sponsors is just the cherry on top, I think. Yeah. And if you get to the production time and you have to begin and you don't have a sponsor, you'll get them next time, because this is a long ball game. This is not, you're not going to win tomorrow. You're going to win over the next 10 years. Yes. Jacob.
Any challenges being a female
Yeah.
in this game?
Yeah.
Advantages?
Well, I would say yes and no, because I mean the comments obviously are probably a bit rougher, rougher than the guys' comments. But I don't think. I think if that is a limitation in your work, then the limitation is probably also in your head, if that makes sense. So for me, it doesn't matter if I'm a boy or a girl. Like, I do what I do, and so it doesn't make a difference for me. If that makes a difference for somebody else, then that is not my problem. Then I'm sorry. I can help you maybe, but it's not my problem. So the same thing. If you're, I don't know what race, what gender, what sexuality, whatever. If that is a problem for somebody, then that's in their head and not in yours. So you shouldn't be thinking about that. Yeah, that's the way I see it. But of course, if I get a rough comment, I delete it, and that's it. Yeah. But I mean, it hurts. But I delete it, and then that's it.
Yeah, what was the exact question?
The female.
Female, like starting out in this industry, I know I've talked to a few people that they feel like it would be difficult for them being a female. They get a lot of criticism.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is going to get criticism. You put yourself out there on any platform, you're going to get criticized, no matter how good or bad you are. But definitely on YouTube, such a public platform where everybody has an anonymity, you're going to get it. Being a female, definitely, I get much different sorts of criticism. I get, of course, a lot of sexualness that immediately gets banned and deleted from my channel. I don't tolerate anything, and it's not because I don't have a fun personality or sense of humor. It's just completely inappropriate, and it's just something I don't tolerate. I get a lot of people who insult my husband right off the bat. Do I gotta?
We're going to wrap up Twitch. We just would like to say goodbye to the Twitch feed. Thank you, Twitch. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope Taylor was watching on Twitch.